Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. Today I want to talk about my comic cards and a roadmap that I have for how I'm going to be improving my comic cards moving forward, starting at the beginning of next month in March. This is going to be helpful for you because you're going to be able to see how and understand why I make certain decisions with upgrading my cards, crafting my cards. It'll give you more of a game plan for your own crafting. I also talk about and go through maybe cards to avoid crafting on, or what to do when you craft specific stats or specific colors of stars and that kind of stuff, so you can tackle the system better yourself. And then you can also see how big the power bump is, because as easy as I make the game look now because I'm such an amazing player. No, I'm just kidding. But as whatever difficulty the game appears now, I've actually fallen behind a lot compared to the top level players. So I want to try and catch up to those players and really bring you guys the absolute highest level content. But I also want to do so gathering as much information along the way so that we don't lose sight of how good characters are, because that was really one of my biggest complaints when the crafting system first got introduced and they introduced these ideas of Pierce and stuff like that, especially Pierce. I went on the APK, this was a few months back now, but on the APK, all of the cards were like this. Every card gave 5% additional Pierce, which was 25% additional Pierce, and suddenly I was doing stage 99 Proxima with like a tier 2 Venom or something like that. I was just like, what? Well, the good thing is I'm not going to get 25% Pierce. That's the first thing. It's going to be very difficult, and it's going to take a lot longer than just a couple of days or weeks or months or whatever to get 25%. But secondly, I can now approach the system with more of a plan, a game plan. And so I'll show you what I've been working on behind the scenes and on the live streams in order to achieve that. So this is basically the null compendium, and I also want to talk about this and bring this up in a video because this is already on the master guides. And so if you're checking out the master guides and you stumble upon this and you're confused, I will explain it to you now, what it means, what it does, and what it's going to be used for, and how it's going to be very helpful. So this right now is a snapshot of all of my best characters being soloed, played solo, and how quickly and how high of a stage they can beat null. So this is basically a barometer. This is like the baseline for how much damage characters are doing right now on my roster with my cards with 0% Pierce. And so I'll be able to, and my plan is to slowly build up my Pierce 2% at a time, and at each step of the way, test all these characters again. So that's obviously going to delay me going from 0% Pierce to like 10% Pierce or whatever, 15% Pierce. It's not going to be a day one switch. I really don't want to do it that way anyways, because 2% Pierce is really not that hard for you guys to obtain. A lot of you guys have already gone ahead, even your low spenders or whatever, but you've been able to obtain 2%, 4%, maybe more than 4% Pierce. So I want you to be able to see what's within your reach for sure, and we'll eventually get to the point where I get more than 5 or more than 10% Pierce, and then that will be we'll get there. We'll tackle that when we get there. But in the meantime, I'll have all this information. So I'm basically just going to be duplicating all of these runs here, but I'll add an additional. What I'll basically do is I'll add an additional column, and I'll say plus 2% Pierce, right? So like with 2% Pierce. And then I will basically do the same condition. So I'll use Null with Carnage and Superior Octopus as the team up. I'll use the exact same strikers, the exact same stage, and then I will note the time that it takes to complete it. And then I'll, maybe a couple weeks later when I'm done this, maybe a week later, hopefully it doesn't take that long, I'll do another one and I'll do 4% Pierce and then 6% Pierce or whatever. So the idea here is that I'll always have this as something to go back and look at. And it'll be important because, for example, some characters might get new uniforms or might get reworks or whatever, but someone like Ghost Rider won't, or maybe someone who's even easier to play like Gambit. Pretty consistent, right? You just do 3, cancel 5. It's a pretty consistent rotation. So without any Pierce right now, I can go up to stage 9. Believe it or not, Gambit can solo stage 9 with 5 seconds left if you use double support, and you use his leadership for the ignore dodge, and you use these strikers with the cards that I currently have now. So let's say, 3 months or 6 months down the line, I've got like 20% Pierce, and people are like, man, you changed. Yeah, I'm looking at these gameplays now, and these characters, I don't even understand how good they are. We'll be like, hang on, hold up. So we just got Havoc in the game, and my tier 2 transcended Havoc can clear stage 30 null as fast as Gambit can. So now we can rewind and look and be like, well, Gambit could clear stage 9 with 0 Pierce. So Havoc is probably going to be around that level. So it'll give me and it'll give us the ability to sort of go back in time, so to speak, and find out. Obviously, if worst comes to worst, I can always spend crystals to unequip cards, test characters, and then re-equip the cards. It is a pretty expensive thing to do, but if there's a lot of people in the community that want to see that, then I might consider that. But you know, it's important to adapt to the game as it develops, and obviously Null is not the final be-all end-all content. Hopefully we'll be getting even more difficult content in the future, not like tomorrow or anything, but you know, you want the game as it gets older to give you more and more difficult content. You don't want it to throw out easy content for you, so I want to be ready for that difficult content, right? I want to be able to push past stage 9 of Null, which for now I can, and so getting stuck at stage 9 for like months and months and months is probably not that much fun. If you could imagine if you had gotten stuck at stage 9 Proxima when she first came out years ago, you would have probably been pretty frustrated not being able to push past that stage. And you probably have already felt the enjoyment and the rush of building up your cards or building up your characters or both and being able to push, right? Oh, before you could only do stage 30 Black Dwarf, now you can do stage 40 or stage 50. I want to experience that too, right? I'm sort of plateauing at this point, and my roster is pretty stacked. Got a lot of CTPs, my cards are very stacked, but I've avoided crafting and I've avoided the CTP reforging, so I'm plateauing. I can't really push anymore against Null. Basically, once you hit stage 9, actually at stage 10, the big thing is you can only use male characters, so I can no longer use Mystique, can no longer use Valkyrie support, and then really, without having any Pierce, you basically can't do any damage. So the only reason why Null was able to complete that for me is because he has 5% base Pierce, right? So we'll see how much stronger these characters get bit by bit, piece by piece, but I wanted to give you guys that roadmap because I'm going to be able to show you guys how I would craft a card that I already have equipped. I'm not going to go ahead and equip that White Fox card right away. My plan is actually to start by crafting I think it's the Baby Spider card, or possibly it's one of these 3 cards here, but basically I'm going to start off by crafting, like I said, in the beginning of March, I'm going to start off by crafting the card that I have with the highest base quality that already has stats that I want. So this is actually the first piece of advice that I have for you guys. If you have some premium cards equipped, and by now you should already have premium cards equipped, even if you started playing 4 months ago, you should have already been able to pull 3 or 4 premium cards for free from this chest, and hopefully at least one of those cards is, you know, like a top 5 card like Guardians or this Cable card or Baby Spidey or Luna Snow or White Fox or Black Panther 166. There's quite a few. There's actually more than 5 top 5 cards, but hopefully you've pulled at least 1 or 2 of those cards. And again, if you're a brand new player, if you've been playing for years, then you have way more than that as far as premium cards go, without having to spend any money or any crystals gambling. But basically, yeah, that's the first step, is to identify a card that you have equipped, a premium card, of course, that you're going to keep in the long term, that is good, and that has a high quality that you want to craft. Obviously, this card is high quality, and it has good stats, it has energy attack, and it has the proc, but I don't want to keep this card. I don't want to keep this card because cooldown, you just don't need that much cooldown. And I've sort of covered why certain cards have lost value and other cards have gained a bunch of value due to crafting, but basically we no longer need cooldown duration and ignore defense as a fixed option. So cards that don't have those as fixed options have gotten much, much better. So that's why this card's really good. There's no cap on max HP, there's no cap on all attack, so this card is amazing. This card does have the cooldown and the ignore defense, so it may actually not be top 5, but it does have the all attack fixed, and then it has the physical and energy. Not every card can roll both physical and energy, so that definitely matters for something. That one's not premium. And then this one, again, you could argue that there are other options that are better, like White Fox, like Luna, because those have 2 attack stats as a fixed option, and neither of them have ignore defense or cooldown as a base. Actually, this one has ignore defense, I forgot, but anyways, it's all attack, crit damage, and then this one actually energy attack, all attack, crit rate. So that's what you want. You want more offensive stats in the fixed options, or if you're a PvP player, you want more defensive stats. Honestly, Lunas, the Crescent card is not bad. Again, none of these fixed stats have stat caps, so you can go as high as you want. So that is really what you want to identify, is identifying a card that has good fixed stats, that's premium, that has good quality. Good quality is like 4 and up, and then you craft that one first. You craft that one first because if you get some good stats, especially cooldown, ignore defense, then that's going to really help your stats in the long run. You know, I still need a little bit more ignore defense And then, of course, those other stats, just want to bump them up as high as possible. But yeah, my plan is to maybe craft this card here. I'm going to craft it until it has all of the stars crafted. And then we'll see from there. And we'll go from there as far as re-rolling the card or locking stats and re-rolling. And I'll show you guys all of the different ways that you can do that and how much it costs and sort of the pros and cons to each one of them. And then I'll just go from there. Hopefully, I do not get really lucky with the card crafting a whole bunch of blue stars, because if I craft 3 blue stars right off the bat, I would actually have to stop the video right there and stop crafting, because I guess I could craft to 5 blue stars, but I could not craft the 6th blue star if for whatever reason, like the stars align and RNG is like here with us, you know, in the room, and we literally get 5 blue stars back to back to back to back to back. I would have to stop the video, I'd have to stop crafting, and I would have to start testing at 2% pierce, because I don't want to push ahead to 5% pierce right away. But thankfully, you guys are going to see me get wrecked. I'm not going to get that lucky, and we'll be able to test it out all, you know, well and good. So I'm pretty excited for it. It's been a while since I've had progress to be made on my account. You know, I equipped this card years ago, and you guys have been watching me for years. You know, this card has been with us for a long time. I'm actually going to be unequipping it when it comes time, just as a, you know, a relic of the past. I'm not going to delete this card. I'm not going to use it to reroll. We're just going to keep it as a reminder of our humble beginnings, you know. But just like we used to have obelisks that were like, you know, 40% crit damage, 30% crit rate at a 200 proc, and we were like, this is the holy grail of obelisks. We rolled those obelisks like 4 or 5 years ago, and we thought it would never get better than this. Now we have brilliant CTPs of energy and all this stuff, right? So yeah, everything gets replaced in time. So I want to keep this one around as a reminder, but I am excited to see how much further I can push my account in, not only against Null, but in squad battle. You know, I'm no longer anywhere near the top 5 for squad battle in any given week. But even other things, like even possibly Shadowland, like Godzillinator did stage 40 Shadowland with Coulson. I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want to bring Hulkling or Drax into a stage 50, 60 and you know, swamp ass. So that'll be pretty exciting. ABX as well. I'm sort of, you know, my scores are dropping a little bit here and there, and I'm sort of lagging behind the rest of my alliance, but we'll have to see how it goes. Let me see who's number 1 for squad battle right now. 13 million. Okay, I can beat this guy. He probably doesn't have crafted cards, poor guy. But he might not actually end up being first in this season here of these 100 players, or these 80 or so players. Oh, what's up, Chams? I think Chams has some crafted cards. Maybe not. Maybe Chams is just auto playing. Okay, well, we'll talk to him later. Anyways, so yeah, that's the plan. I know there's going to be some people in the comments who, you know, basically say that they're going to stop watching the channel once I start crafting. That's totally fine. There's other YouTube channels that you can check out for Marvel Future Fight, and when you grow a pair of balls, you can always come back and watch me. You know, you just have to adapt to the times. I think this is the absolute best way to do so, and we will always have this information here handy, so it doesn't, you know, my account isn't ruined by crafting my cards. My showcases and my character reviews aren't ruined, because it's not like I'm going to have amnesia and suddenly forget how strong all of these characters were before, you know, BP and AP, before Pierce and after Pierce. I'll still remember. And if I forget, we always have this compendium to go back and look on and be like, oh yeah, this character is that strong with this build and with his cards before Pierce. So yeah, it'll be great. It'll be fun. And we'll learn something along the way. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.